welcome to Stillspeakpod. I think it was a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. I need to check. But I brought you the story of missing Melissa Trumpy, who is 37 years old. She's a mom to several children. She's still currently missing. Her boyfriend, Derek Hammer, has a lengthy criminal history involving domestic abuse and robbery and a host of other different charges, and even has kidnapping in Nevada a few years back. And we discussed it in that original video. If you did not see that video, I suggest you go take a listen, because this is just going to be a small update in addition to that. So in that video, I mentioned that Melissa and Derek Hammer were arrested in September and then charged in October on a host of different charges. And I said that the friends said that she was only charged because she was there when he was arrested and it involved him doing drug trafficking. And there were some other counts involving her children and whatnot. And I mentioned in the video that I wasn't here to determine if her charges were valid or not at this time, but that I felt this arrest of both of them was important to share since it was only a few weeks prior to her going missing. And somebody, I believe, on my video mentioned or commented saying maybe she was going to testify against him and, he found out, and you can fill in the blank. Well, the update that I have for tonight, which isn't much, there is something to that effect, but we do have some conflicting information. Her sister, who has spoken out several times, spoke out a few days ago, I believe it was 2 days ago, saying that Melissa became a cooperating witness in the criminal case just before she disappeared late last month. Quote, she actually met with them and was cooperating, unquote. And she said that Melissa and Melissa's mother and authorities had met. And the sister believes that the authorities should have considered offering Melissa some type of protection given Hammer's convictions and his conviction in Nevada, which involved the kidnapping. And she said, quote, they knew the man they were dealing with, unquote. And there is a court event scheduled Monday about Melissa's charges, but obviously she's missing. So now that being said, the Greene County District Attorney Craig Nolan said, quote, at no point have I had personal contact with her, unquote. Now, this is the district attorney, and the sister said that Melissa met with her mother with authorities, so possibly it was the police or investigators, and maybe the district attorney either A, didn't know about it, or B, he personally had not spoken with her. It was the investigators. And then today, that same district attorney said that he's likely going to ask the judge on Monday to actually issue an arrest warrant for Melissa, who is missing. And he said, quote, I anticipate requesting a bench warrant if she does not appear, despite the fact that I recognize how that appears in poor taste, knowing that she is a missing person, unquote. Which, I mean, at least at minimum, he recognizes that it comes across in poor taste. It surely does. That being said, it is court procedure that if you don't show up for court, that you typically would have a warrant issued. And if they don't have a clue what has happened to her, there's this possibility that they're considering that she ran. That being said, if they're aware of Derek Hammer's, I don't know what that was about, sorry, Derek Hammer's, criminal history, then that should lead them to believe that she most likely did not just take off. So then again, the sister says that she was cooperating, etc. But then here comes the district attorney again saying, quote, I can advise that at no time would law enforcement characterize Melissa Trumpy as a cooperating witness, unquote. And then he went on to say that Trumpy did meet with a detective on the 25th of October, but said that Trumpy only revealed that Derek had been in contact with her in violation of his bail condition. And he said that the detective urged Melissa to be in contact with authorities if she had safety concern. Well, 3 days later, Melissa was reported as a missing person. And on that same day, just a few hours later, Derek Hammer was arrested in Shannon, Illinois, involving these charges and being, in violation of his bail conditions. And okay, you tell her to be in contact with you if she has any safety concerns, but sometimes you don't have time to do that, right? So, maybe she couldn't get in contact with you. Maybe she was in a really dire straight situation and she didn't have her phone, or you wouldn't let her get to her phone. We don't know. And he's saying that, she wouldn't be categorized as a cooperating witness, but he admits that she met with a detective to reveal that Derek had been in contact with her, which is in violation of his bail condition. So that is being somewhat cooperative. Like, she was trying to follow the bail conditions and saying, hey, listen, he's contacting me. You should know about this. So that is somewhat cooperating. So I don't really know what's going on here. Is this them trying to cover their ass because they didn't provide her with any type of protection if she was going to testify against him with this? And so now they're kind of like backpedaling. That's been done before, so it's possible. Or maybe there's a misunderstanding on behalf of the sister. Maybe she thought that she was cooperating, but she really wasn't. She was only semi-cooperating. I don't really know what to make of this, to be honest with you. What we know is Melissa's missing. Her boyfriend has a criminal record. He has domestic abuse issues. And he kidnapped somebody at some point. And he's currently in jail because he had a standoff with police the day she was reported missing. And 3 days after she tells a detective that, he contacted her in violation of the bail conditions, what do you know? She goes missing. Who's to say he didn't know that she went and met with a detective and he was concerned that she might testify against him or work with a detective to get her charges lowered? Maybe he followed her to the station. Maybe he saw a text or a phone call. Maybe he assumed. Who knows? Now, some people are saying, this shows that she took off because she doesn't want to be convicted on her charges. Well, her family is pretty adamant that she would not leave her 3 children. That is completely out of the question. That being said, sometimes family will say that, and then it turns out that, that they would do that. It's very rare, though, because family typically knows their loved one best. So I think there is that small possibility she took off. That being said, I'm not leaning that way. I'm just not. Because she went to go meet with these detectives, and that leaves her only, 2.5 days, because she was last seen on the 27th, the evening of the 27th, reported missing on the 28th. So that only leaves 2 days to make a plan to escape Where's she going? Where? With only 2 days to really make some sort of plan. Why even bother going to the detective on the 25th then? Like, you're going to take off if you were planning longer. It doesn't make any sense. It's much more believable that somebody wanted to make sure she couldn't do something. And I think the family has already kind of accepted the fact that she's most likely not okay. You can tell. I mean, even her sister said in one of the articles that she would love nothing more than for her to be found okay, but that she does not believe that is going to be the case, even though that would be the greatest thing ever. And then she added, quote, "but it's just not likely," unquote. There are several groups already formed, and one is for those who are helping with, searching, putting up flyers. They kind of narrowed down the area. Let me give you the name of that group. If you are in that area and you can spare even an hour of your time or even 30 minutes to put up some flyers near you, that would be amazing, and I'm sure they'd be so thankful. So it's called Melissa Ann Trumpy - official family updates and info. There's roughly about 900 people in there. So if you are in this area, the Illinois area is what they sort of have narrowed it down to in the surrounding areas. And you can help. Like it says, volunteers were needed yesterday. So they keep posting when they need help, where they're going to be searching, what ground they've covered, and things of that sort. So obviously these people want to find Melissa desperately and, get some answers for her children, her beautiful children. They did hold a prayer vigil for her, and it was beautiful. It was a really great turnout. And I know that I saw that the state police is also now involved, whereas before that was not the case, and they were desperately trying to make that happen. But it does appear like that did finally happen. And again, if you just join this group, you will see all the different, I'm scrolling it right now, there's all these different calls for help and search parties and whatnot. It looks like they mostly do it on the weekend, maybe on Saturdays. Here they're searching the Monticello area, and they are looking in Shannon area of Illinois, and Pearl City, and Mount Carroll, and Chadwick, and Polo. This is sad. It's just sad. I feel terribly for her and her children. She appears to have been a really devoted mom. And there's 3 children out there tonight that are very confused and worried about their mother. So if you can go back to that original video, not this one, because this is just an update, the original video with the basic story, please share that one. Even if you just have to take screenshots of the flyers in that video to share that, it'd be amazing. I also have her on my social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram under the name Stillspeakpod. And that way you can share it faster that way. The sooner they can find her, the better, so that they can all have some form of closure one way or another. So until next time, I'll see you soon.